Welcome to machine learning, multiple logistic regression. All right, so far we've done linear regression, and now we're doing logistic regression again because I'm trying to show you machine learning isn't about learning just one technique, it's about putting a whole bunch of them together. So before we had parameters A and B in our logistic function, and here it is, you've seen last time, and this models the probability that yi equals 1. Remember, this is named a sigmoid function. The reason I keep bringing that up is later it's going to show up again. So why not keep bringing it up so that when you learn it later, you go, oh, yeah, I already know that. All right. So we needed to learn the idea of a likelihood. The estimates A hat and B hat are found by maximizing the likelihood. We used a confusion matrix to generate and evaluate the fit using specificity and sensitivity as well. And we were able to do generative predictions. So what we want to do is modify these ideas for more predictor variables. And the trick is going to be the same that we did for linear regression. So don't be surprised. We're going to use the bone fracture data set. And the reason why is because it has multiple variables in it and it's logistic regression in the sense that you have fracture, no fracture. Other variables such as sex, weight in kilograms, heights in centimeters might also help predict the fracture. So for this, we're going to extend this to these additional variables. All right. So if you recall, the logistic regression model is the probability that yi equals 1 is equal to pi is equal to this fraction e to the a plus bxi plus 1 over e to the a plus bxi. To extend this, we simply add on like we did for the multiple linear regression case. So it's exactly the same idea, right? You just tack them on by adding them on. So similarly, we're going to use the same trick that we did before. It's exactly the same as before in terms of uh, how it works. We only need to change our code a little bit, and bingo, we'll have it. All right. So for prediction, we're gonna have her give us a value that is done by a cutoff, right? So the data have to be between, or the data are 0 and 1, so it can't be between it. Logistic regression gives values between 0 and 1. So to turn it into a 0 or a 1, we use this simple cutoff approach. And later we'll try to tune this cutoff, but right now we're just being straight up. Let's learn a whole bunch of models. Most software has it set at zero point 0.5, and that's what we're going to do. However, you don't need to choose C equals zero point 0.5. We're going to use data splitting to evaluate our model. So instead of doing just logistic regression and seeing how well it fits, we're going to go straight into prediction because that's really how machine learning works. The fit is okay, but you can have a great fit and have a horrible prediction. So we're going to focus mainly on predictions, and we're going to create a confusion matrix to evaluate each of the models that we're interested in. Now, there are lots of model combinations, and specifically 2 to the p, and here is the p is the number of predictors. For the bone fracture data set, if you just put in BMD, sex, weight, and height, and age, you're going to get p equals 5, and there are 2 to the fifth equals 32 possible combinations. So this might be taxing. It goes up really fast, by the way. For people who go, oh, I want to do like, 700 genomes or whatever, or SNPs or genotypes or phenotype. Not the phenotype's the outcome, but they want to do a bunch of those, and then you say, well, that you can't do that because that's just way too much. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna build 5 models. We're not gonna do all 32. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, hey, these are the models in the interest, order that I'm interested in. Okay, so I've got BMD, BMD and sex, BMD sex and weight, BMD sex, weight and height, and then BMD sex, weight, height, and age. So we're gonna evaluate each one of these models, and here they are. So I've already done all the work um, because we're going to do that towards the end when we go over to Python. So here's the confusion matrix for each one of these. And I didn't put it in a matrix format. I just put correct negative, false positive, false negative, correct positive, the sensitivity and the specificity next to it. So for model 1 that just had BMD, you can see that it has a sensitivity of 0.077 and a specificity of 1. That's not terribly good. Now, you'll see that when we did the data split, it was a 50% data split. So don't be too surprised. When you did model 2, you get exactly the same thing. So adding that other variable doesn't seem to have changed anything at all. And you'll actually see that this is the actual output. This isn't me going, oh, I forgot to do something. This is really what happens. Because remember, it's still doing classification. Model 3, we ended up with a sensitivity of 0.346 and a specificity of 0.932. Model 4, we have a sensitivity of 0.38 and a specificity of 0.843. And for Model 5, we have a sensitivity of 0.462 and a specificity of 0.915. None of these look very good, especially since the sensitivity is so low. And if you recall, this is how you would calculate sensitivity and specificity. But really, in terms of what we've built so far, I wouldn't use any of these models. Usually, you like to have these things well above 80%. Some people will say higher. When it's predictive, it's hard to get above 80%. All right, so let's go over to Python and see how to do this. So we're going to use the BMD data set. So just go grab it and we'll jump over there. Okay, here we are. We're set up. This is going to be very similar to what we did with logistic regression. However, I am going to do some other things to show you other ways to subset data using pandas arrays and things like that. Maybe don't convert everything into a NumPy array. Um, and as you go along, the reason I'm doing this is I'm showing you there's lots of ways to do this. None of them are wrong. However, you will find that wherever you work, people use certain conventions, or this is the way they wrote their code, and you have to read it. So you need to have seen a bunch of these to know sort of what they're trying to do. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to read in our libraries. You'll notice there's this little orange triangle over here, and it's saying, look, you didn't use this. It's saying you didn't use any plotting in here, but I imported it anyway. And yes, that means that I'm wasting memory, but it's okay in this case. But if you're doing a production job, you don't want to read anything in that you don't need to put in memory. All right, so let's make sure we are in the right directory, which we are not. So we're going to go to the right directory and make sure that everything is good there, because otherwise it won't read it in. It won't read in the data because it's not aimed at the right directory. So let's see if this worked for us. Okay, read in the data, we're good. Again, we're going to have to create a fracture, no fracture here, so that our variable, that our outcome is a 0 or a 1. Now, some people don't do this and they let the computer do it automatically. And I find that very scary because you don't know what it picked as 0 and you don't know what it picked as 1. I always like to pick it myself, so I always know what it is, and it's also recorded in the data set or in the code. Male and female are also text. I need to turn those into numbers, so I'm going to make female 1, male 0. You can flip it over if you want. It doesn't bother me either way. Well, it will affect your output in terms of the sign that goes on the coefficient in front of here. So just be aware of that. All right, so here we're going to make our X data. Now we're going to put all the variables that we are interested in this. Okay. So BMD, male, female, which is what I just created. And then I've got here weight in kilograms, weight in centimeters, and age. Uh, and I'm subsetting this using the way Pandas does it. And you just put another brackets and then the variables you want in the brackets inside the brackets for the subsetting. Now for Y1, I'm going to leave it as a NumPy array. Why? Because I'm slowly introducing you into this, and as we go along, you'll just see that you'll learn a lot of things differently. All right, so let's do this and make sure this works. Make sure we get our data set that we want. Okay. Again, I'm going to do my train test split. Here's my X data, here's my Y data, and I'm going to do a split of 50%. Okay, and my random state is 0. If your random state is 0, you will get the exact same answers as me. All right, so this is going to split our data up for us so we don't have to worry about it into our training and test data sets, validation data sets. And here, remember, we have 5 models that we're interested in. Okay, we have 5 different models, and I'm going to show you how to go through and do this for all 5 models, and we're going to get a confusion matrix for each of these. Okay, so just keep that in mind. We are going to get a confusion matrix. All right, so here's regression 1, and here I'm using the NumPy array reshape thing like we had last time and we did above, and I'm going to do the Y train ravel. And then again, I'm going to predict using the NumPy array uh, code or style. So just keep that in mind. But on the ones below, I'm going to change it up a little bit. So keep that in mind. That as I do this, there's a little bit inconsistency, but the inconsistency is to get you to learn that other people write code in different ways. Okay, so here is our confusion matrix. And this was the one that we had before in the slides. So this is exactly like what's in the slides. If you can go back and check if you want. Here, for my regression 2, I'm going to have BMD and male female. Notice I'm using the double bracket notation again that I used before. And I'm going to use the double bracket notation here. But I'm leaving this still in the NumPy sort of Y train ravel. Okay. Uh, and I'm going to do that the rest of the way down, but you can see which variables are in it easier. All right, so here, notice I got exactly the same confusion matrix. Like I told you in the slides, I'm like, yeah, it actually did give me the exact same confusion matrix, even though people are like, well, it shouldn't do that. Well, it's doing prediction. And if it doesn't change the model that much, then it probably isn't changing the predictions that much. So whatever we added here, which was male female, doesn't seem to be doing a whole lot. All right, so I'm going to run the third one. Notice it has BMD, male, female, and weight in kilograms. Here's the confusion matrix we end up with. We're going to add again for our fourth one, BMD, male, female, weight in kilograms, and height this time. And notice in our test, we're doing the same thing. And you'll be able to download this code, so you shouldn't have to worry about it. So here's the confusion matrix for this one. And the last one had all of our variables in it that we were interested in both the train and the test places. All right, so we're going to run this and we're going to get our confusion matrix. And notice it said it didn't like doing something for the logistic regression, and we'll talk about that later. So it says increase the number of iterations or whatnot. Right now, I'm just going to leave it like this because we'll talk about problems with logistic regression later. Right now, I'm just trying to get you a toolbox, and then we'll go back through diagnosis once we have all of these pieces, because it turns out that the diagnosis is the same on a lot of models. So once you learn it for one model, it applies to a bunch of models, but we want to learn a whole bunch of stuff first, and then we can go back and focus on diagnosis and whatnot. All right, so we I think are set to go back and see what it says next. Here's the code I used, and yes, it fell off the bottom a little bit, but if you're typing this, you'll see the pattern and hopefully be able to figure it out. Hopefully, you can download it off of GitHub or Canvas. So far, we can do multiple linear regression, linear regression. We can evaluate the performance of the model both on fit and predictive performance. And the next couple videos are going to be, well, what if we want something more than just straight lines? Okay, so we're going to look at polynomial regression first, and then we're going to look at some other non-parametric type regressions that will adapt to the data that you have and can give you quite a good fit and hopefully good predictions from it. But let's jump into polynomial regression in the next video, and I will see you there.